H-Town, what's up? Will Scott here with Texans Today by Chat Sports, talking about some Texans trade rumors on today's show. And if you want to continue to stay in the loop with the Houston Texans, go down and hit that subscribe button below this video because we're always going to have you covered when Texans news breaks. Also breaking down free agency rumors, trade rumors, draft rumors, all of that kind of content. So subscribe to the channel. We have relaunched our Texans channel here at Chat Sports, and the more subs we get, the more content you get back at home. As I mentioned, today's show going to be about some trade rumors revolving around Texans wide receiver Brandin Cooks. Here's what Aaron Wilson reported from the NFL Combine. No deal imminent or developing, sources emphasize, but there's plenty of interest in Texans wide receiver Brandin Cooks via a potential trade. Cooks has reiterated this offseason his desire to change teams and join a playoff contender. Process continues. Brandin Cooks this past season played in 13 games for Houston. The numbers not as good as last season, 2021. Nearly 700 yards, 57 receptions, 3 touchdowns for the Archer in H-Town this past season. And, of course, he was in trade rumors last offseason. He was in trade rumors at the deadline. But last offseason, they actually gave him a 2-year extension instead of trading him. It was near $40 million, was not traded at the NFL trade deadline, but it kind of had a bad attitude about not getting traded. Missed practice, was stripped of his captaincy. Players maybe not happy with him, coaches maybe not happy with him, and there's this report from Aaron Wilson that the Texans are taking calls on Brandin Cooks. Taking a look at some potential teams here. I would probably trade Brandin Cooks for a third-round pick. Here are some teams that might be interested. The Ravens really need to add to that receiving core. The Broncos, the Packers, the Patriots are in desperate need of a big-time wide receiver, and so are the New York Football Giants. Now, ClutchPoints had a really interesting Brandin Cooks trade idea with Chicago Bears, and here is that trade idea. The Bears would receive Brandin Cooks, the second overall pick, and a 2024 first-round pick from Houston. Could be the Browns pick, could be the Texans pick, not sure. And the Texans receive the number 1 overall pick in the draft, which I'm sure they would probably draft Bryce Young with. And there's a lot of talk right now amongst Texans fans. Should the Texans move from number 2 to number 1? This package is one that I would be open to. I talked to Chicago Bears now host Harrison Graham earlier about this trade. He said that as a Bears guy, he would rather have the 12th overall pick than next year's Texans first-round pick. So that's worth noting. Maybe that's what the Bears would want. It'd be a dream scenario if you can maybe trade Cooks, the second overall pick, and another pick that's not a first-round pick to get the number 1 overall pick. But the Texans do have some different scenarios here in terms of trading up for number 1. Maybe moving Brandin Cooks to Chicago is an idea there. Now, would you do this trade from ClutchPoints? Type D for deal or ND for no deal down in the comment section. Would you do this trade? I don't think so. I do not think I would do this trade, giving up Cooks, number 2, and a first next year to get this done. But it's close. I would very much consider doing this trade, but probably typing ND for no deal there, and then stay at 2 and take whichever quarterback doesn't get picked at number 1 if the Bears do, in fact, trade that pick to the Colts, the Raiders, the Panthers, or another team that needs a QB. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to have you covered with more Texans free agency content and draft content here in the coming weeks.